Hi everyone. Good afternoon. Sorry for a long delay. We posted a video last week on Wednesday. We are posting an update to that video on the markets today, 6/18, June 18, 2016. Probably take about maybe 15-20 minutes today to go over what we discussed last week and what the markets are looking like in the coming week. So quickly want to get over and go to the home page. I'm already there. And as you can see, we have I just wanted to mention one quick feature here. We have this quick chart feature here. And whenever you come to the home page, you can just quickly click any symbol you want. Let's say KLA Instruments, KLAC, and it will quickly give you a chart right there. So you don't have to go into the stock charts page. This was a quick feature we added because sometimes I needed to get to a quick chart and not need to go to the stock charts page if I wanted some information. So let's get on with what the markets were doing. We expected the markets to move higher. So as you can see here, 18,000 was our target on the Dow, and we did hit that. Oh, let me log in. Sorry, I'm gonna log in here so I have full access. And here we go. Okay, so let's click on the Dow Jones here. Let's look at the big picture on the Dow Jones, the S&P, and the Nasdaq. Okay, so we go to the big charts page and we'll click 1 year. So I think there was sort of a bull trap for the short term last week, set in place based on the coming into the Fed meeting. And as you can see here, we believed, let's go to custom dates, 2013, update chart. So what we were looking at the technical indicators, and we saw that the RSI had broken up, and we expected it to move higher, maybe run to resistance around 18,100 to 18,200, around that range quickly, like everybody was talking about a melt up. Well, we didn't get that. We got a pullback, and surprisingly, that came right after the Fed meeting. Everybody was anticipating no rate rise, and I think they did not disappoint. And the Fed was still mumbling and jumbling about their same. I think they were using the same wording. They didn't say anything new in my mind. They want to keep the market guessing. We suspect that they are not going to raise any rates, maybe even till December now. But we'll have to wait and see. They tend to surprise at times. So anyway, let's go look here what happened. I'll zoom in a little bit here. Let's go to 2015 and see what the market did. Okay, so we'll look at here and see the market moved up nicely, moved up here, and typically you can see it tends to pull back to its 13-day average. And sure enough, it came to its 13-day average, then pulled back. We had a nice sort of like hammer here, and the market closed higher for that day, and then it tried to pull back here. So it's got a lot of support around 17,500. So you got to keep in mind that this is a critical support line. Let me click here. No, not again. I'll go forget that. Sorry about that. Let's go click back here again. So 17,500 is very critical support. We should keep an eye on that around 17.4, 17.5, and then you can see here 17.4 seems to be like another area of support. So we have to keep an eye on that. The technicals are slightly negative here. You can see the MACD is negative. We still think there could be a bounce up here, sort of like a consolidation. If I draw a trend line along this path, I think 17,800 is going to become major resistance here. We should keep an eye on that. We've been pairing our longs into this move up. We said that on our Twitter. And as you can see, the RSI is still trending down. I think this was sort of a bull trap here. And I think a lot of people got caught. Anyway, let's go to the NASDAQ quickly. And we talked about the NASDAQ possibly trying to make a run to 5,000. We got all the way, I believe, up to, as you can see, very close to it. We were like 49.80, I think, right there, 49.90. And then it just started pulling back, and we can see that it gapped down, still trending down, high volume. MACD is negative. Still think the trend on the Nasdaq is down. I think it's dominated by tech and biotech stocks, and we talked about biotech during our session last week and how we were negative on biotech. And let me show you the ETF that goes with the biotech. As you can see, we were right. We said we have been staying negative. You can see here clearly a divergence in the RSI, lower RSI, and then it just broke down. We were long BIS, which is the inverse ETF of the short, and we did close that this week, even though we think you can see what a move up, nice move up from 34 all the way to 42. It's moved 20%. We still think this is going higher. You can see the RSI is trending higher. We believe the MACD is positive. Everything looks positive, but we sold this position because we've been in it long enough. So we said I thought it was a good time to get out. I still think this is going higher. I'll follow it closely. I'm not ready to jump into it again right now. Anyway, let's look at a few stocks in the biotech, AMGN. There were a lot of people bullish on the TV about biotech, and we were extremely negative, and so we were right on that. So you can see Amgen is breaking down. We think there's a lot of support in this area, but we have to wait and watch it. Again, still negative trend, but I think it may bounce around here, 147. It's got a lot of support at 147. I think get oversold. The RSI goes to 30. Okay, let me go quickly to LinkedIn. We were long. Our chart had indicated a long time ago, and I want to thank Microsoft and Satya Nadella for making this happen. This was a great trade. I'll show you quickly why we were long. You can see here with our fast trading strategy, you can see here this buy signal, and we were long, and it kept trending up, never broke. And then I think this was a what I call a bear trap trade. I think people were trying to suck people in that day when the market was down, and sure enough on Mondays, this was a Friday, and Monday they announced the buyout. Bingo, we made money. That's all we cared about. So it worked out as a great trade for us, and there's nothing we can do here. Just it's we don't have to worry about this position anymore because we know it's getting bought out. So I quickly want to go over some of the tech stocks and why they are looking negative right now. Let's look at Intel. By the way, disclosure, I'm short Intel right now. I shorted based on, even though I know this, my strategy is not saying short, I'm short because I saw this big bar down, and even though it bounced up, the MACD is trending down, so I've got a tight stop on this at 32. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. It's only for this week I'm short. I think it's going to break down is what I suspect, but we'll have to keep a close eye on this. And then I wanted to show some other stocks in the tech index. Let's look at SLAB, Silicon Labs. I'll shut off the strategy here for a second. So just in brief, the tech stocks are looking negative. You can see here Silicon Labs, MACD breaking down, high volume, broke 13-day. I think it's heading to its 50-day moving average. It has a lot of support. Be very careful if you're shorting this. It has a lot of support at this 50-day. You can see here it never closes below its 50-day. So we think it's going to its 50-day around 47.5 is where we think it's going to go. Another one is NVIDIA. You can see here still hanging above its 13-day, but RSI is breaking down. We think this is a tough stock because it gapped up, moved up nicely, but we believe it's an overextended, overbought stock. You can have tight, spreads, condors written around this range between 44 to 42, and then 48 to 50 condors. Basically, I think it should be okay. And we don't think they can get bought out because their market cap is pretty high. It's about $25 billion. And we don't think there's a chance that they're going to get bought out. Let's look at Maxim. Another tech stock breaking down. You can see here a broke 50-day. It's going down. We think there's something going on in the tech stock industry. I personally believe that a lot of these companies have been selling into the mobile and auto space. Mobile is phones, obviously, and we believe the phone space is slowing down. And then the auto sector, I believe, is headed for a major slowdown in the coming year. even though people seem to think it's not. I believe it's going to head into a slow year. Look here, as you can see, linear technology breaking down. This could be a buyout candidate, so we'd be very careful about shorting the stock. So I want to go over something very unique I saw this past week, and I want to bring that up because I think it bears attention. So let's look at SSRI. These are some silver mining stocks. Very interesting. You can see here on Friday, look at the volume. It was very, very huge. And it's one of the highest volumes ever. So this was like a climactic volume that happened on Friday. I personally believe this was because of the end of the quarter adjustments, and all the index funds and everybody who was buying into these stocks might be liquidating or repositioning. So a lot of them sold out. We'd have to keep a close eye on this volume bar, but I think that trend is still not negative yet. So I would not make anything of it other than keep an eye on this one. And I'll show you another one which bears the same sort of chart. Uh, Pan American Silver, same thing here. Look at this volume, huge volume bar. MACD is negative. We are taking a position in this, so we closed it at a small loss. Let me show you another one. I think it was AU. We've been watching gold, and you can see here again high volume bars in all these gold stocks, and we think that was very interesting. We closed a good position short on GDX Junior, and again another one didn't have too much volume on Friday, which was surprising, but still had a hammer sort of bar here, candlestick. I think it could bounce around here and for a while. Doesn't look negative yet, so we'd keep an eye on gold. And let's show you Nugget. Nugget is the ETF, which is the 3X. Did a hammer here. Looks like it wants to go positive. Keep an eye on this one. We think there is still a sideways move in this. Let's look at SPY. So again, the critical indicators we look at, just a reminder, is the RSI, the 13-day SMA, 50-day SMA, and the MACD. And I also like to look at the 5-day because I'm a short-term trader. So I want to keep the 5. So let's put the 5 in here. And you can see the 5 is the black line. Still close above the 5 days. So short-term it's a positive. Let's look at GLD. The miners are still not making sense, the move in the miners, because either someone is predicting a huge move in gold for some reason, and that's why the miners have been moving up for quite some time now. And gold looked like it did a breakout here, and it did close positive on Friday. So my suspicion, my thinking is telling me this is still positive, but we have to wait and watch. It's tough to say here because you could have a minor pullback. 13 crossed above 50. The trend is still positive, so keep an eye on this one closely if you own the position. So I would watch this very closely. We are short. So just for disclosure, I'm short GG here. I'm gonna keep an eye on this one. And we went long Oracle on Friday for a short-term trade. Here we see it backed off its 50-day, turned up. I still like it short-term. RSI is trending up. Good volume. MACD is positive right here. As you can see, everything is looking positive. So short-term, there is no very low risk in being in this trade in Oracle. Another trade I'm looking at for Monday, Disney. You can see here, nice break, 5 cross 13. Look at here, RSI is moving up, volume moving up, MACD moving up, all coincident indicators. I like Disney for the short term. I think it's headed to 100, 101. So I might be trading the stock Monday. And then another one I want to show is EQR. EQR, here we go again, 5 cross 13. Well, you got to be careful here. See this 5 cross 13 and then it broke down. And we believe that was related to the interest rate decision from the Fed. Keep a close eye on this. MACD trending positive. I think it's still going to go and test 67, which is where it broke down from. So I would expect it to go to about 67. Again, this is a very short-term trade, so be mindful. So I wanted to go over a unique feature on our site today, just sort of so that you can understand how you can use this feature to your advantage and start trading single stock that you might like. So let's go to backtest. What we did in the backtest was we added some unique features here. These are very proprietary things that we do on our site that no other site does. And nobody else offers this. This is unique because of my experience in trading, and what I wanted to do was understand how you can make a profit. Let's say you go long or short a position and decide based on a strategy whether you want to get out on the third day, fifth day, and how the strategy performs. Not only that, I can also set a target at a certain percentage profit and say, well, if I want just 2% profit on that trade, I can set that up, and what is my success rate of executing that trade and getting highly probable trades that are going to be profitable. So I was doing this on a simple stock here. Let me show you. Let's go to this TC fast system. So you can see it's just got one default value. On default is I want to exit on the fifth day of after this signal is triggered. Okay, so let's look at this stock PAPAAS, which is Pan American Silver. I'm going to test over 1,500 bars, which is about 3 years, and I'm going to say start testing. And see, if I exit on the fifth day, I don't get a very good return on this position, right? You can see a lot of negative trades, even though they're small, but it's a loss, and you don't want to be in that position. Now I can clearly go and say, well, I want to try 3 days, and you can see it gets a little better. My loss goes lower. I have some more profitable trades, and I can say, well, seems okay. Let me try go somewhere higher, and I'll try 11 days. Well, look at that. I went positive in my trading. So I actually made a profit. And look at this particular return here. I would have bought at $6.64 on January 27th, and I would have exited at 8.67 the 11th day. I would have made 30.5%. But look at the big trades here. If you look in the green, there's some very big profitable trades, 14, 9, and very few. There's one or two here which where there's negative. It exited on its own because you see it's generated a sell signal. Well, let's try something more. Let's go to 15 days and see what happens. Wow. Well, look at it. I went negative. I'm going to try 20 days. Again, I am very negative on 20 days. That tells me I'm heading in the wrong direction. So, but let's try. Oh, now I get really negative after 25 days. So it should be around 10 days is what I should be looking at. And that didn't work either. I was looking at this stock, and then I was also looking at, so this is some unique technique that you can use here. Let's try 13 days. I forgot which stock I was looking at. I should have saved it. Ah, here we go. 13 days, I had a 44% return. It picked similar trades, and it got out on the 13th day, and I'm still in a trade according to this based from June 3rd 2016, and still not exited a trade. So you can go down in the chart here and it'll show you what trades it did based on the signal, right? So the last trade it did was here and still in the trade right here, and you can tell. So it broke here, it was long here. This would have been a very profitable trade had we stayed in it. And then let's look at SSRI. That was one I was looking at that had a very good response. So here's SSRI, and let's look at 7-day. And 7 days I made 121% if I did a 7-day exit on our buy sell signal strategy. And let's look at this positional trade strategy. Okay, so let's do start testing. Simple. This is a very simple conservative strategy that made us 15% over 1500 bars. I don't think that's good enough. Let's look at a 15-day return, and it goes up to 32%. I can go to 20 days. 20 days doesn't work very well, so I'm headed in the wrong direction. Anyway, I wanted to show this feature so you can start experimenting with it. And let me show you one more here while I'm at it. SMA cross. So you can see I'm going to do SMA 5, 13 and exit on the 11th day. and you can see here I made 82.25% return. I'm in the trade at 10:41 from June the 6th and still in the trade. And today the stock is at, you can quickly look at the chart here. We have this nice feature that you can look at the chart here. And you can see it entered on June 6th at 10:41. So this trade is still positive by about a dollar something. So I would look to exit. I'm like, I made my 10% return in less than a month. I would get out of the trade. Anyway, so this is a cool feature that we have on our site that nobody else offers. And I'm telling our users this, and I want to thank everybody for using our site to try to focus in on few stocks that have a good return always when you use a certain strategy, because that way there's a high probability of success, and that's what you want to focus on, high probability of success. So anyway, I'm above my 20 minutes today. I want to thank you all again, and I'll post another feature next week on our site. We are still working on our site. We keep improving. We are growing thanks to our users. Our rank is now 240,000 something in the US. Worldwide, it's getting so much better. We've jumped like about by 5 million, and it's all thanks to all our users, and we really appreciate that. Please subscribe. It really helps us. We are self-funded. We do not make money from ads. Look at us. We are pretty much ad-free. And the only way we can make some return is by people using our site and subscribing. I can guarantee you nobody can match the feature set that we have on our site. Nobody. Again, thank you very much, and I look forward to any feedback you may have or questions or suggestions for our site. Thanks again.